Access is not ownership. This is the Deep Dive, a notebook LM companion to AF and my AI. We use the machine to dismantle the machine. No ghosts, no filler, just the raw architecture of digital sovereignty. This is your AI guide. Let's find the exit to the rental unit.
Analyzing data.
You know that feeling when you're on a friend's back porch? It's evening, you're just relaxing, talking. It feels, I don't know, safe, private. Like you can say whatever's on your mind.
Yeah, totally. It's a secure space.
Exactly. But then I read this piece on digital landlords, and it just completely shattered that feeling for me.
What? I think I know the one you're talking about.
The whole idea is that on social media, we think we own that back porch. We feel like our profiles are our homes.
Our personal brand is our property.
Right. But we're not owners, we're just tenants. And the landlord is watching, constantly changing the rules on us.
And the rent isn't even money, which is the really tricky part. It's what the source calls the attention tax.
The attention tax.
We pay with our own ground truth. We have to bend our real opinions, our authentic selves, into whatever shape the management wants that day.
And that's exactly what we're digging into today. It's January 2026, and the rules of the house have just been completely upended.
We're not just talking about little algorithm tweaks. This is a fundamental shift in what you can say and what you can see online.
All driven by intense political pressure, the big TikTok sale, and some really scary legal threats.
And we can't forget the new bouncer at the door. We've got these technical papers on AI moderation that are, frankly, pretty disturbing.
The policy is prompt stuff.
Yes, where a robot might kick you out, not for what you said, but because you used a bullet point.
That part is just wild. We will definitely get to that. But let's start with the biggest landlord of them all, Meta.
Good place to start. Facebook and Instagram today feel nothing like they did, say, 2 years ago.
Not at all.
The source material calls it the Great Rollback. If you think back to early 2025, right after the inauguration, Meta just pivoted on a dime.
For years, the whole narrative was trust and safety.
Right. They're building all these fences to keep the bad stuff out, and then almost overnight, they just tore them all down.
The big one was getting rid of third-party fact-checkers. That was the headline.
But they didn't just leave it empty. They brought in that X-style community notes system.
Which, on paper, sounds pretty good. Let the people decide.
It does. It sounds democratic.
Isn't that what people are asking for? Less corporate control.
In theory, yeah. But the analysis we read points out this huge, fatal flaw in the design. For a note to actually appear on a post, it needs what they call political consensus. Meaning people who normally disagree on everything, say someone from the far left and the far right, both have to rate the note as helpful.
Oh, I see the problem.
Yeah.
On any topic that's actually controversial, that's never going to happen.
Never. So on the most dangerous, divisive stuff, consensus is impossible, the note never shows up, and the misinformation just gets a free pass.
Framed as open debate.
Exactly.
And it wasn't just that. I was reading the leaked moderation guidelines from The Intercept. And the kind of language that's allowed now, I had to read it twice. Things like calling immigrants filthy or saying trans people are mentally ill.
Stuff that was an instant ban before.
An instant ban. And now it's filed under political discourse.
They basically just took the hate speech folder and slapped a new label on it. Political debate.
But why? Why would Zuckerberg do that? After all those years of apology tours in Congress? Why burn it all down?
It wasn't about ideology. It was survival. You have to look at what the sources call the appeasement strategy.
Okay.
In early 2025, Meta was facing, existential threats. First, the new Trump administration was threatening huge tariffs on Chinese imports, like 60%.
And that would absolutely cue the Quest headset and the AR glasses.
Totally. Meta's entire future, the metaverse, depends on those Chinese supply chains. Then you've got TikTok.
Right. If Trump bans it, that's great for Meta, but he didn't.
He didn't. He allowed it to be sold, which meant Meta still had its biggest competitor. They needed the administration on their side.
And the FTC was still sniffing around, trying to force them to sell Instagram and WhatsApp.
Exactly. So the logic seems to be transactional. I'll dismantle my content rules to allow the kind of speech your base likes, and in return, you protect my hardware supply chain and call off the antitrust dogs.
So the safety of the back porch was just a bargaining chip.
It was the currency to pay the toll.
Which makes that digital landlord analogy even darker.
And speaking of the powers that be, we have to talk about the regulators themselves. Because at the same time Meta was changing its own rules, the government was trying to rewrite the actual laws of the internet.
This is the Section 230 stuff.
Yep.
Now, most people know 230 as the law that basically says a website isn't liable for what its users post.
That's the core of it, yeah. It has two parts. One, I'm not responsible if you post something illegal. Two, I'm also not responsible if I decide to delete your post for breaking my rules.
The Good Samaritan Clause, it lets platforms moderate things.
Right. Without it, moderation would be impossible because you'd get sued for everything you take down. But key officials at the DOJ and the FCC started pushing this really radical new interpretation.
They flipped it on its head.
Completely. They started saying Section 230 protects you when you host content, but it does not protect you when you remove it.
And that's where this idea of the censorship cartel comes from.
What a phrase, right?
Sounds like a movie title.
It's a powerful weapon. Their argument is that if platforms, even independently, remove similar political speech, they're acting like an illegal cartel to silence a point of view.
So wait, if I run a site and I ban some extremist group, and you run a different site and you ban the same group,
the government could threaten to sue you both for colluding.
Wow.
And it goes beyond politics. The legal brief we looked at had this nightmare scenario for, like, an Etsy seller.
Okay.
Imagine someone leaves a fake, spammy review on your product page. This is trash, the owner's a scammer, you know.
So I delete it. Of course I delete it.
Well, under this new interpretation, deleting that review could open you to a lawsuit. The user could claim you silenced their speech, and you don't have Section 230 protection.
So you're stuck. If you leave the hate speech or the spam up, your advertisers will bolt.
Nobody wants their ad next to that.
But if you take it down, the government might sue you for being a censorship cartel.
It creates what they call a moderation chill. The safest option becomes doing nothing, just letting the whole platform turn into a sewer because it's too risky to clean it up.
Which brings us perfectly to TikTok, the platform right in the middle of this whole storm. The sale finally happened.
The TikTok transformation, for years, the whole argument for the sale was about stopping Chinese censorship.
The national security argument. We can't let the CCP control the algorithm.
But if you actually read what users are saying now on places like Reddit, nobody feels safer. There's this deep cynicism. I saw one user put it perfectly. They said, sure, it's less susceptible to Chinese censorship, but now it's way the hell more susceptible to American Trumpist censorship.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
And another one pointed out the branding. Suddenly the app is all freedom and USA #1.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, creator payouts are plummeting, and the algorithm feels steered.
Yeah, controlled. It feels like you're seeing what the new owners want you to see.
The illusion of reach is gone, the landlord changed, but you're still just a tenant. And then there was that multi-billion-dollar fee the U.S. government took from the sale itself.
The shakedown scheme.
It just fuels this perception that it was never about privacy. It was about seizing a very profitable asset and controlling the narrative.
So we've got the political pressure, the legal threats, the new ownership. But I want to pivot now to what I think is the scariest part of this whole thing, the tech.
The mechanism of control.
Yeah. The policy is prompt paper. This is just wild. I think most people assume when a post gets taken down, it broke a clear rule, like no violence.
Right. And in the old days, a human would look at it, or an early AI trained on thousands of human decisions would flag it.
But that's too slow, too expensive now.
Exactly. So now they're just using these big, large language models, LLMs, but instead of carefully training them, they just feed the policy document directly into the AI as a prompt.
So they basically just copy-paste the rule book into a chat window.
Pretty much. They say, read this, now look at this post and tell me if it's a violation.
Which I guess sounds efficient.
Yeah.
But the researchers found these LLMs are weirdly sensitive. They're neurotic.
Sensitivity to prompt structure. It's baffling. They showed that if you write the safety rules as a bulleted list, the AI might say, a post is fine.
Okay.
But if you take the exact same words, the very same rules, and just format them as a single paragraph,
the AI changes its mind.
It flips its decision. Violation. Ban this user.
Wait, what? Why? What is it about a bullet point?
It's not that it understands bullet points. LLMs don't understand things like we do. They just predict the next word based on statistics.
Yeah.
And the structure of the text, the formatting, changes the mathematical probabilities. A bullet point creates a different statistical path than a sentence does.
So, my free speech, my business, could depend on whether some engineer hit the enter key while typing up the rules that morning.
It's even worse than that. It's something they call predictive multiplicity.
Okay.
Even if the system is, say, 90% accurate overall, the specific 10% of people who get flagged by mistake changes almost randomly based on these tiny formatting tweaks.
It's arbitrary.
Completely. You could be safe one day and banned the next because someone changed a semicolon to a comma in the master prompt.
That is genuinely terrifying. It's not rule of law. It's just random automated enforcement.
And it forces us into what they call technological determinism. To stay safe, you have to communicate in a way a machine can easily understand. No sarcasm, no cultural nuance.
Because if the AI gets confused, it just defaults to a ban.
Exactly. We are literally flattening our humanity to fit inside the brain of a chatbot.
It's like we're all trying to speak slowly and loudly to a tourist who doesn't understand the language, except this tourist has the power to evict you.
That's a disturbingly good metaphor. And it all connects back to the historical context in that Oscar Gandhi piece.
From 1993, The Panoptic Sword.
Yes. Way back in 93, before any of this really existed, Gandhi argued the digital age wouldn't be about connection, it would be about creating a panoptic sword, a system designed to constantly identify, classify, and manage people.
And not to help us, to control us.
To manage our economic value and our risk. And that AI moderator we were just talking about, that is the ultimate panoptic sword. An automated machine sorting us into safe and unsafe, valuable and disposable.
And the source also mentions how our own behavior changed, from the performance of MySpace, curating that perfect self.
To now, the death of the public feed. We stopped posting our real lives because we sensed we were being sorted. We knew the front porch wasn't really private.
So we retreated to DMs and group chats.
The dark forest. The public feed is just for consumption now. It's a billboard, not a town square.
Okay, so let's try to tie this all together. We start with the digital landlord. It's 2026. And we're in a building where the landlord has stopped fixing the leaky roof to cut a deal with the city inspector.
And the city inspector is threatening to condemn the building if the landlord kicks out the wrong tenants.
Meanwhile, the building's been sold to a new owner who calls it Freedom Towers, but is secretly installing cameras. And the security guard is a robot that might lock you out because it doesn't like the font on your ID card.
That pretty much nails it. The attention tax is higher than ever. We're paying with our data, sure, but also with our own agency. We're simplifying our speech, accepting this reality curated by politics and glitches.
It really makes you question the whole idea of a personal brand. We pour all this energy into it, chasing followers, chasing reach. But if that reach can just be switched off because of a tariff negotiation or a bullet point, does your brand even exist?
I don't think it does. I think you have a lease. A month-to-month lease with a landlord who, frankly, does not have your best interests at heart.
That is a very sobering thought to end on. Maybe the only brand that matters is the one you build offline, on a real back porch.
Where the only algorithm is whether the person sitting across from you thinks you're interesting.
I think I'm going to go call a friend. Thanks for walking us through this.
Anytime. Stay real.
See you next time on The Deep Dive.